drive time, Royal Ramble, and coming up in just a few days is WrestleMania 34, or WrestleMania, because we don't like calling it anything anymore, because Vince McMahon was scared of his age. And I just wanted to kind of more or less throw thoughts at you like a shotgun blast full of rambling nonsense when it comes to things like, you know, what I'm thinking about when the matches are going into, or who I think may win those matches. Just in general, what's going on with this WrestleMania thing. So in general, don't feel like it's WrestleMania season. By what I mean by that is, around this time, we start having this kind of feeling that there's that certain feeling in the air, the same kind of feeling that happens when, you know, it snows outside and you're like, oh, winter's getting close. It kind of gets kicked off when the Royal Rumble happens, and you have, that's my favorite pay-per-view, so you start having that thing happen. You go, all right, now we see the matches that are forming up for WrestleMania, and you start getting excited about that. Problem is, Shinsuke Nakamura, one of the best dudes ever, he wins, and he's going to be facing AJ Styles, one of the best guys ever, at the biggest show for the biggest title, for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And this is exciting, except for the part where you have to build a story around these two guys coming to blows. And we have a double-edged sword happening with our brand split. And what that is Raw has its own superstars, SmackDown has its own superstars, Raw has its own pay-per-views, SmackDown has its own pay-per-views. So we need to establish that, you know, AJ Styles has one more pay-per-view before he faces Shinsuke at WrestleMania. So now what we have to do is we already know this is going to be a feud. AJ and Shinsuke is going to be a feud heading into WrestleMania. So what we have to do is we have to establish some kind of some odds that AJ has to overcome to make sure that match still happens and what ends up happening is we have a big intricate feud that happens over the course of, I think, 6 weeks leading up to Fastlane, which ends up having AJ Styles basically feud with 6 other people. Inevitably, we then lose sight of, you know, whatever we're deeming as our fucking dream match, and Shinsuke versus AJ. So it gets pushed back and pushed back until AJ wins at Fastlane. Now we're set, right? Now we're ready to go. And we go, oh fuck, we have 4 weeks to make this feel important. And it's like, okay, well, how are we going to do that? And apparently just by basically having AJ and Shinsuke walk past each other in the back going, hey, I'm going to fight you. And the other guy goes, okay. And that's about it. We haven't really had much of nothing up until last week, where Shinsuke acts like he's going to kick AJ's head off, and then he just stops and, like, boops him on the nose. Which, that's pretty cool. That's pretty, you know, that's something. But it's not really anything. It's about all we have so far. Conversely, for the other biggest championship, we have the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, fighting Roman Reigns. Not super excited for this, but it's not because they didn't try to build it like what happened with AJ and Shinsuke. Oh, no. They went into overdrive. They've built the shit out of this thing. They've gone above and beyond. They've done everything they possibly can. We had the Elimination Chamber to determine who was going to face Brock Lesnar. The Elimination Chamber being a giant dome of, you know, glass and fucking chains, and, like, you know, fucking 6 men enter, 1 man leaves kind of thing. And we have Braun Strowman, who everybody likes just because he beats the living shit out of people. He's literally like a cartoon character that has, like, extra super strength, you know, that one kind of guy who doesn't know his own strength and he accidentally crushes things in his hand and he's like, duh! That's what Braun Strowman is. So Braun Strowman goes in there. There's 7 guys in this match. He kills all of them except for Roman Reigns, who Roman Reigns gets to kill him. I'm not too mad about, you know, that kind of a thing, because they really did try to establish the fact that everybody was beating up on Braun. Everyone was hitting their finishers, but Braun was just still a chugging, and Roman Reigns more or less just kind of outlasted everybody to be able to do the killing blow. The main reason it sucks because just like I just don't like Roman. It's a weird thing now where apparently we have to have reasons and like have to be able to defend and debate and like argue as to why we don't like certain guys, whereas we could just say he's not fun. I don't smile when he's in the ring. When he's cutting promos, he doesn't make me laugh. Braun Strowman last week, or this past week that I just watched, says, oh, I have a tag team partner, walks in the back, walks right back out with glasses and a different shirt on, and says, my name is Brain. My brother is Braun. Like, come the fuck on. Braun Strowman throws people like fucking candy into fucking the garbage can. Like, that guy's entertaining. A guy that says suffer and succotash. I know he hasn't done it in a while, but then he's cutting promos on Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar doesn't have to be there every week. He's like, oh, he doesn't care about us. I'm the guy who cares about everybody. And Brock Lesnar, you're Vince's boy, which just spits in the face of anybody who like even remotely like knows what happens behind the scenes, or you know, can watch and see that obviously this guy is getting pushed in a way that we know he's being favored by Vince McMahon. Regardless of any of that, I don't like him. I just don't. It's kind of my feelings towards him. So when you're telling me him and the guy who's, I would say, basically given up on trying in matches, are going to come to blows at WrestleMania, and they're going to, you know, it's going to be this big fight, and they're going to destroy each other, and you're just going to get this big ass-kicking destruction match. I don't feel it. And the way they've gone about trying to build it is by having Roman Reigns, like, act like he's a rebel, but then, like, at every turn, not be rebellious. So I'm going to rebel by going and talking to Vince McMahon calmly in his office and getting suspended. He's like, oh, well, okay. And then he got suspended. The next week, oh, he broke his suspension. What's he going to do? I'm going to calmly talk to you and tell you how I don't approve of this Brock Lesnar fellow, once again, not coming and showing up for this great show of Raw. It's like, all right, cool. Oh, hey, we're going to call the U.S. Marshals on you. Oh, is he going to fight the U.S. Marshals? Well, he's first going to let them cuff him, and he's going to be like, okay, I understand, do your job. And then for some reason, he just kind of, as he has handcuffs on, just kind of goes, oh, now I'm upset. Now I'm going to fight back. And, like, elbows into unconsciousness 3 U.S. Marshals. Obviously, U.S. Marshals. And then Brock Lesnar comes out, like, sprints down the ring. Roman Reigns goes, oh, shit! I'm handcuffed and fucking Brock Lesnar's charging me. And Brock Lesnar stomps the shit out of Roman Reigns. You know, fucks him up. Pretty good. Next week, Brock Lesnar comes out and is basically sitting there, I beat up Roman Reigns. And they're like, oh man, Roman Reigns can't be here tonight. We beat him up too hard. So then Roman Reigns comes out, because of course he did. He's fine. He got beat the shit by the UFC heavyweight champion while he was handcuffs, but just needed a little bit, just needed a kick back. It's fine next time. Comes out, Brock Lesnar beats the living shit out of him again. And it's like, cool. Go Brock. Beating the shit out of this guy. This guy I don't really have anything for. So now we're trying to make him a rebel. We're trying to make him sympathetic. We're trying to make him a diehard. We're trying to make him a badass. We're trying to make him no nonsense. And yet we can't give Shinsuke and fucking AJ more than a passing glance in the back. All I'm saying is that they're trying way too hard on one and not hard enough for the other. And when it comes down to it, like, obviously I care more about AJ and Shinsuke just because I know that's going to be a way cooler match. I've already seen them have a way cooler match. And I've seen Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. The problem with that is, at both of those times, regardless of what anyone says, we cared about both of those guys way more at those times. We liked Brock Lesnar because he was fresh off kicking the goddamn shit out of John Cena. And we at least we at least had this idea that Roman Reigns was the next guy and he was getting all this momentum. He had momentum. And he doesn't have any momentum because it's become more and more of an uphill climb with the dude. With the more, like, he had momentum when, all he had to do was go uphill slightly. But now they can fucking strap a goddamn, like, Mars rocket to his back. And I don't think he's going to get any momentum because it's a wall at this point of trying to get him, like, trying to get people to like it. It's a fucking wall. He's just going to bet. Slam right into it. Anyway, Shinsuke versus AJ Styles. I think Shinsuke's going to win. I feel like that's what they should be doing. I think that's what's going to happen. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I feel like it's going to be Roman Reigns because the thing they keep doing is every year at WrestleMania, it's his crowning achievement. It's when he finally does it. Roman Reigns will finally realize his dream at main eventing and winning in the main event of WrestleMania. Even though he main evented and beat Triple H, and he main evented and beat The Undertaker, and he main evented against Brock Lesnar. He didn't win, but still, he fucking did that. So, like, Roman Reigns is gonna realize his dreams again. He's gonna, gosh darn it, he's gonna pull himself up, and gosh darn it, he's gonna make it happen. John Cena might fight The Undertaker. Why? The Undertaker had, like, a beautiful send-off. He fucking looked like garbage in his last fight, but I'm still not convinced he didn't do that on absolute purpose, of him fighting like shit just to be like, yeah, dude, I'm old and I can't do this anymore. My body's broken down. He's like, he's like one of those, he's just like that character in like a TV show where, like, this whole character is that he's too old for this shit. And, like, somebody comes and they basically take him out. That was Roman Reigns. He came and he took him out, and it was like, man, puppy. It's like, man, I guess I don't have anything left. So he takes off all his Undertaker kind of get up, his hat, his gloves, his coat, folds it up, sets it in the center ring, and then, like, sinks down into the floor. Like, unless he held up a fucking, like, Acme, like, Roadrunner sign saying, I am retiring, and, like, held up a microphone that says, this is the last time I'm going to be in a match. I don't feel like you could, like, have established anymore that he was done. Now John Cena is calling him out and is saying that you are not done, you have to fight me. And that you're a pussy, you're a coward, you're a piece of shit for not wanting to fight me. And, like, I really wonder if maybe it's just me, like, looking too hard into it, but, like, I'm just like, John Cena, stop being a fucking bully. Dude's 53 years old and his fucking hips don't work. He had to get, like, steroid injections into his knee to make him work and have a match last year. Just let him go. Let him fucking post on his wife's Instagram. Like, it's fine. Like, you can just have a match with somebody else. Or don't have a match at all. Just knock it off. I don't know who's gonna win this match. I would assume it's probably gonna be John Cena. But it could be The Undertaker. I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and guess that it's going to be Undertaker. There's a guess. That's a guess. That's actually something that's kind of good, I would say, about this WrestleMania. Is that most of my predictions would be at best guesses. Because they have... I was about to say they've done a good job of making everyone seem credible. But it's actually probably more a thing that they've not made anyone seem particularly credible. They haven't gone out of their way to build these matches that well, so therefore nobody really seems like they can win because nobody seems like they can lose, I guess. So we have two women's championship matches, and they're basically as polar opposite a written story as you could possibly have. We have Asuka versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And then we have Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, what makes these so different is that we have Asuka, who's, I think, going on 1,000 days of not being defeated. Ever since she stepped foot into a WWE-owned ring, she has not lost a match. closest thing to consider is that she didn't win a battle royal, and even that, it's like, we don't really count that until it came to the Royal Rumble, which we had our first ever women's Royal Rumble, which Asuka won. So she is super, super undefeated. She has not lost a match. Not a triple threat, not a multi-person match of any kind. She is like 500-0. Not lost a match. And she wins this women's Royal Rumble, rather. And she gets to pick who her opponent's going to be. So she then kind of is deciding whether she wants to fight the SmackDown Women's Champion or the Raw Women's Champion. She has beaten the Raw Women's Champion, so she knows she can beat her. So then she kind of goes on like I would guess kind of a crusade of beating all the people that she hasn't either hasn't fought, or just kind of putting an exclamation point on, I can beat this person. And the other person she beats on this tour is Nia Jax, who is, I think, about 6 foot, maybe 6'2", something like that. She's a big old girl, and she's an ass kicker. She's like, she completely does not fit the mold of any kind of WWE women's superstar. Usually, if they're a bigger girl, it's usually that they're muscular at best, and Nia is like legit just a big old girl, and she kicks shit at people, and like, you know, talk shit. She's cool. I'm just saying, I liked her before she was cool. Just saying. And like, she's way bigger than Asuka. Asuka's like 5'5" or something like that. She's not very big. But Asuka's thing is that she can break down an opponent. And they have an awesome match where basically the story was that like Nia's kicking the bejesus out of Asuka, but Asuka is able to use these submissions to wear her down until eventually she chokes her out and Nia has to tap. Fucking great match, great story. And the whole story behind it was, if Nia could possibly break Asuka's streak, she would then kind of coattail onto whatever match Asuka decided she wanted to have at WrestleMania. So cool. It kind of gave stakes. It was kind of the same idea of what they were trying to do with AJ Styles, of kind of putting like stakes on their match at WrestleMania. Asuka decides to fight Charlotte because she has not fought her before, and she thinks that Charlotte is the best female wrestler that is going right now. So she really wants to prove something by winning this match at WrestleMania. So she doesn't want to just fight Alexa just because she knows she can win. So what's going to end up happening is, you know, that's going to be an awesome match. They have somebody running around with a Money in the Bank contract, which basically you walk out, you hand a ref this briefcase, the bell rings, and you have a match immediately for the championship. And what I'm guessing is going to happen is they're going to have an awesome, close to 20-minute match between Charlotte and Asuka. Asuka's going to win. This chick's going to come out trying to cash in on these two beat-to-shit women, and Asuka's going to beat the shit out of her. So on her first WrestleMania, she's 2-0. Something cool like that. Because that whole thing is built on two ass kickers who are going to try to kick each other's ass. Nia Jax has gotten herself a title shot against Alexa Bliss on the Raw side. And Alexa Bliss used to be Nia's best friend. In real life, they're their best friends. But the story that they're kind of going with is that Alexa uses Nia for her muscle so that she can, you know, have unfair advantages. Basically, the whole feud between Asuka and Nia Jax was orchestrated by Alexa Bliss, trying to make so Asuka didn't choose her to fight. So I guess in a way it worked. But then it kind of reveals that, you know, Alexa is using her. Alexa thinks Nia is emotional, and basically Alexa's just being a mean girl, like, oh, she's fat, oh, she's a freak, she's such a weirdo, stuff like that. And then Nia Jax is freaking the fuck out because women are emotional. The best way I like it was put was by my wife. I literally described the match like that, and she just like immediately says, would they do that with a men's storyline? And I just was like, they absolutely would not. Because could you imagine this? Fucking like a 7 foot tall, fucking 300-pound, like muscular fucking guy and his best friend is calling him fat, and he's just going, "Bah, you betrayed me." Like, No, you would not write that, which is fucking stupid. I think the pro and the con of this is Nia Jax's character has always just been like, just imagine someone who's just always slightly smirking. It's like, I'm gonna beat you. I'm so much bigger than you. I'm gonna break your face. That's just been her entire character. So one good thing about this is that we are getting at least this emotional, like, I would say, like, passionate person out of Nia. So she comes out like a house of fire now. So whenever Alexa's in the ring, she's talking shit, Nia comes sprinting down like she's gonna fucking rip her head off. Which is great. I just wish it didn't come at the exact same time of, you know, Nia crying because her friend is mean to her. I think both belts are changing here. I think Nia is gonna, you know, you have to. You absolutely have to. Listen to me. You have to do that. You cannot let a bully win and then just not, you know, just do nothing from there. So Nia has to win, and then Asuka's streak's going to continue because it's going to be great. So those are those. We have our 2 mid-card belt, Intercontinental and US, which are both being determined in multi-man matches. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and The Miz are fighting for the Intercontinental Championship. It's been a cool match, or been a cool build, because it's basically just been the 3 guys talking shit, kicking the shit out of each other. It kind of comes across as The Miz is trying to get them to fight each other, and is trying to orchestrate more and more ways to have them get beat up, so that way he can have an easier time when he fights them, and that they're both 2 hotheads that, you know, do lots of flippy-doo stuff and will end up probably, you know, doing a lot of damage to each other so that Miz can pick the bones. And up until this week, I would have said that Finn is probably going to win. But the problem is, they have not announced that Finn Balor is going to be using his demon gimmick. When, you know, he comes out with this fucking, like, demon from the pits of hell and fucking has all this body paint and these teeth that are, like, on his chin and on his neck, so that way he can do this and it looks like a giant mouth. They haven't announced that he's going to do that. So usually when they don't announce that he doesn't do it, like, they usually have, like, they build up the fact that he's going to use the demon. So I think if they're going out of their way to say that he's not, or if they're not going out of their way to say he's going to use it, I don't think he's going to use it. And the only reason I could think that they're not going to have him use it is if they're not going to have him win. And that's just going to be, like, that's just weird, because he's never lost with that, or he's lost very rarely. He's only lost 1 match as the Demon, and that was against Samoa Joe in a cage match. And The Miz and Seth Rollins does not make a fucking Samoa Joe in a cage match. Just saying. So I don't know where they're going to go with this. I'm assuming it means Seth Rollins is going to win. I think they're going to give Miz a little time off to hang out with his baby that he just had. And the fact that, you know, he's not having his demon thing makes me think they're just going to have him lose. So, yeah, it feels like that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe we'll get a heel turn out of Finn Balor? Maybe? I don't know. I guess I'm guessing Seth Rollins is what I'm saying. The U.S. title match is going to be Bobby Roode, Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev. I hope Rusev wins. The whole story that they've kind of gone with is that for some reason, Jinder Mahal is trying to be an orchestrator to try to get Bobby Roode and Randy Orton to fight each other really hard, so that hopefully he can pick the bones. Sound familiar? Exactly. They were doing the exact same storyline for both of their mid-card belts until everybody started screaming Rusev Day at the top of their lungs. Shane McMahon said, duly noted, and then 4 weeks later decided to give him a chance to get into the match. I hear that this is completely driven by the fact that Rusev is outselling everybody on Rusev Day t-shirts, which is very, very cool that WrestleMania is going to fall on the exact same day as Rusev Day this year. That's awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out a guess that if I had to guess, if you had to say who's probably going to win, I would say it's probably going to be Bobby Roode. Probably going to, have him turn heel in the middle of the match or something like that and have him win. But if you're just like who should be winning this? It's like, it should be Rusev. Like, he does more for that belt every time he holds it. It just makes it a more and more better belt. And like, he is so entertaining and so cool and so awesome that he just kind of deserves to have it right now. So I'm guessing Bobby Roode, but I hope it's Rusev. Rusev. We have 2 tag title matches. One is a triple threat match, which I'm hearing might become a TLC match between the Bludgeon Brothers, the Usos, and the New Day. It's a cool match because it kind of has... We have 3 tag teams, and almost unlike any other match other than maybe Nia and Alexa Bliss, this is the one where it has the most diversity of people that are fighting for these belts. We have the Usos, who, I guess the best way you can describe them is they're like thugs, more or less. They're just guys who just talk shit and kick people in the face. You have the New Day, who are these fun-loving, happy guys that just want to clap and dance and eat cereal and pancakes. And then, lastly, we have the Bludgeon Brothers, who are 2 weirdos that wield hammers and like wear patchwork robes and stuff like that. So this would be a really cool TLC match because it would show off all these different high-flying teams and the power of the Bludgeon Brothers, and it would also give everyone an excuse to win without losing, because that's the main thing. Is like, everybody here, well, not everybody. The main thing we want to do is we want to make the Bludgeon Brothers seem really fucking cool because they're getting the push. They're getting the best like written stuff. They get to kick the shit out of everybody. So if you want to have them kick the shit out of everybody but not have them win, you don't have them, get pinned, right? So you would either, if we're doing a triple threat match, you'd have another team get pinned so that way they don't have to. Or if we're doing a TLC match, you could have them, just another team just gets up and just takes the belts. So that way, they lost, but they didn't get, they didn't get clowned on or anything like that. But if I had to guess, I'm guessing they are going to win. So I think the Bludgeon Brothers are going to go out with the SmackDown belts. Then we have Sheamus and Cesaro, the Bar, versus Braun Strowman and a mystery tag team partner. And of all matches, this is the one I'm looking forward to the most because I love mystery partner stipulations, or you're going to fight somebody later on tonight. Those are always my favorite. I don't know why. I just love that mystery of like, ooh, who's going to come out. And like, they have not really gone into like who could possibly be his partner. There's so many people that are like, everyone's like guessing, but like for me, it has to be Elias. This dude that comes out with a guitar and basically, he plays like fucking Wonderwall and all kinds of just dumb shit. So like, he would be fucking amazing because all Braun Strowman's been doing is kicking the shit out of this guy. So it'd be great if nobody wants to work with him, and then Elias kind of goes, I could be a fucking champion and I can win at WrestleMania? Yeah, I'll be your tag team partner. Like, just something like that. Like, Braun Strowman and Elias had a Symphony of Destruction match, which was a match that was just an excuse for Corey Graves to make Megadeth and Pantera references the entire time. Like, oh, look at this respect walk. Oh, he's in there with a primal concrete sledge. Oh, look at the fucking gates of hell, and just shit like that. Just fucking, like, oh, look at Elias, he's sweating bullets. And, Elias is more or less a joke character, but he's super over. Like, everyone thinks he's really cool. So it'd be really cool to have, like, the 2 most popular guys on Raw to hold those belts. So if I had to guess, I don't think they would go all this way and have all this, Braun winning a tag team battle royale by himself, like shitting on every single 2-man team by himself. I don't feel like they would go that far if they weren't planning on having him win. So that would be my guess, that Braun Strowman is going to win with the help of Elias. So I hope I get 2 points right on that one. Let's see. We have Daniel Bryan coming back. Holy shit. Awesome. Fighting Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Daniel Bryan might have Shane as a tag team partner. That hasn't been confirmed or it has been confirmed as it's going to happen, but we're also having Shane McMahon has a case of diverticulitis, which is where your fucking bowels are rotting away. So I can't really imagine that he's going to go actually all the way there. So I'm thinking that either on SmackDown before or the day of, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to beat him up. That way, Daniel Bryan has to fight these guys 2-on-1. So that way you can be like, oh, look how much of a diehard Daniel Bryan is. Or, in the other way, we can be like, oh, well, that makes sense why he lost. Because the stipulation is that if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose, they're fired. If they win, they get to keep their jobs. Or more accurately, they get their jobs back because they are fired currently. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm guessing they have to have Daniel Bryan win, right? Unless they just want to make sure that, unless they're just really going out of the way to make sure that, you can have Daniel Bryan lose without having him lose. It's another match where I'm not entirely certain, but if I had to guess, I'm thinking that actually Daniel Bryan is not going to win this match. So you can just be like, oh, motherfucking Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Or, me and my armchair booking, my fantasy booking league, I think they might actually go and fucking try to make Daniel Bryan heel and abuse his position of authority by having his two new thugs, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and he's going to put himself into world championship matches. People would think that they would shit on that, but seeing as everybody cheers and boos whoever the fuck they want anyway, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to have Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Daniel Bryan all on a team. And it'd be cool to have this weird power dynamic where Daniel Bryan spent all this time fighting against the authority that pushes down people unfairly and gives people shots that don't deserve it. And then he just fucking, as soon as he gets, because he's the general manager now, just as soon as he gets that power, he starts doing it himself. He's like, now I'm gonna fucking do it. Now I'm the authority, you fucking idiots. I think that'd be cool. That's what I would want to have happen. Then our other premier match is Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle are going to win. This match has had probably the most hype, most build up around it, and I don't know, there's something about it. It just all feels so I guess we're gonna do this match. It just feels like something they have to do so that they can make money off having Ronda Rousey in WWE, and so that Triple H can have his payday, and so that Kurt Angle has something to do so they can market him. And I guess what they're wanting to do is to kind of start selling Stephanie McMahon as the same way as they sold Vince McMahon, as the evil boss, and they're going to use Ronda Rousey as the Stone Cold, to try to make both those people mainstream stars, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely going to happen to where it's going to be mostly Triple H and Kurt Angle fighting, and then probably right towards the end, Ronda's going to come in and do a couple things, slap on a cross arm breaker onto Stephanie McMahon and have that tap. Just a nice feel good moment in that match. It's whatever. There's a Cruiserweight Championship match between Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. This is one of those matches where they had this awesome tournament where it's just really good wrestling. The story was, let's have really good wrestlers wrestle really good. And these are the two guys that have been in a 205 Live since the very beginning. And 205 Live has been very rocky with very varying degrees of goodness. Because the main thing is that it's WWE independent wrestlers, more or less. It's guys who's made their career on doing a bunch of flip-de-doo shit and doing all this really amazing athletic stuff without really working on character work or anything like that, not really working on promos and stuff. But that's the main thing you have to do in WWE. So basically what they've done is alright, stop doing so much flying and start cutting promos. Well, since none of these guys know how to do that, we have bad promos and a bunch of guys holding back in matches. So it was pretty bad for a while. But now it's basically become a format of, hey, I want to prove I'm better than you, well, fuck you. I want to prove I'm better than you. So all the matches have been, as of late, just people trying to show that they're better than everyone else. Which is kind of what it should be. It's just people being as good a competitor as they possibly can be. So this match is going to be to crown a new Cruiserweight champion. And I think it's going to be Cedric Alexander, just because he keeps getting the shaft with either people getting injured and having to have his championship matches canceled, or they rape somebody and his championship matches have to get canceled. Fucking yikes. So it's going to be a fucking cool match. It's going to be criminally put onto the kickoff show where barely anyone's going to see it, because the crowd's probably either going to be not in the stadium yet, or it's just going to not be seen by people on television. But I think it's going to be Cedric Alexander. He's fucking awesome. His story of even getting into the fucking company was great, because he has a match against one of the best fucking wrestlers in the world, Kota Ibushi. And the crowd, this is like during this, way back in this Cruiserweight Classic tournament, where they just had basically a bunch of guys. They just had like guys they don't have signed just to come in and have a tournament, just so they can have their first ever Cruiserweight champion. Like, there's a bunch of people in there that they never were going to even sniff having the belt, just because, you know, they weren't signed, so they weren't gonna, you know, put a belt on them if they weren't with the company. And Cedric Alexander was one of those guys that wasn't gonna actually be with the company. They were just kind of one of the guys who's on there. And he was a lot smaller of a name than a Zack Sabre Jr. or Kota Ibushi, which both of those guys didn't sign up, because basically WWE was like, hey, you want to have 5 nickels and a penny to come wrestle here? And it's like, your name's going to be on a big sign. He's like, or I can go wrestle somewhere else and make a lot more money, but the sign's not quite as big. So they only got mid-level talent, and a lot of the lower level guys kind of get dropped off. Cedric was probably going to be one of those guys just didn't get signed because they didn't offer anything to him, until an entire crowd full of people were just chanting, please sign Cedric, please sign Cedric. And they were like, and then Triple H comes out, and you can tell he was just sitting in the back, like working the monitors and stuff. And he's like, okay. And he's sitting there shaking Cedric's hand and like bringing him to the back. Like, amazing. He kind of deserves to have this moment, like to have it go from please sign Cedric to winning a championship at WrestleMania. Finally, the only other 2 matches that we're going to have are the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the Women's WrestleMania Royal Rumble. Who cares? They don't care who wins this. It's never mattered who wins these matches. It's for a weird trophy that they never actually hold. The only person who's ever actually held the fucking trophy is Cesaro, and he was the only person that anyone thought they were actually going to start pushing, because he won that. Then he became Paul Heyman's guy, and Paul Heyman starts advocating for him. It's like, oh, well, maybe they're going to do something with him. They didn't. Baron Corbin won. Oh, maybe Baron Corbin's going to do something. Nope. So then Mojo Rawley is going to win, and they're like, okay, so they aren't going to do anything, because they were never doing it with fucking Mojo Rawley. So this doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who wins. If I had to, like, guess, I think it's going to be someone we don't know. Like, someone they haven't announced for the match yet. Kind of like what they did with Baron Corbin. So it might be like a Killian Dane or something like that. He was in it last year. He's from NXT. He's a big Scottish guy. It's cool. And with the women, I feel it has to either be Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, or Bayley. But they could also instead do someone from NXT that's coming up, like have Billie Kay or Peyton Royce, just to have them kind of get established. So that's my kind of shotgun spray of what's kind of going on and what might be happening with all of that stuff coming up on WrestleMania 34. It's going to be something. I'm going to watch it, obviously. It's going to be 7 hours long. I don't know how much I'm really going to be watching it, but it's definitely going to be on my home for 7 hours. So, hopefully it's cool. I want it to be cool, obviously. I'm just not that excited for it. Hopefully it does. Hopefully once we get there, it's good. Alright, well, thanks for driving with me. See you next time.